I think that we've had a good training camp. I think we had good OTAs. I think our habits are going in the right direction, and you focus on those things as um, every practice that we go through. We're thinking about how did we tackle, how did we take care of the football, how did we take it away, how did we catch it, how did we block, and so you're just looking for those to constantly be on the rise. And I think when you practice with the intensity that our team practices with, and you get that good on good work that we've gotten for so long. Our good offensive line is going against our good defensive line. You have no choice but to get better. And so I feel good about that. Now we got to go do it. We got to let our habits take over in the game. As coaches, we got to let our habits take over in the game as players. But I feel good about where we are right now. And this will be a really good test against a really good opponent.
Speaking of habits, I asked Jalen about how you've emphasized habits, and he said you've had a habit of saying contribution over credit.
Mhm.
Where did that originate, and why was that something you wanted to get across?
I think you're just constantly trying to think of new ways to say the same thing. If I say you can't be great without the greatness of others for an entire year, again, that maybe that feels repetitive. So it's just another way of saying that, really. Is we're looking for contributions on it from everybody, and you need everyone's contribution. You need every. It's really at the end of the day, it's the same thing of saying you can't be great without the greatness of others. Contribution over credit, because if we get the contributions from everybody that we talked about, their roles and what they need to do, and then their elevated roles if they need to step into an elevated role, good things will happen. And so that only happens though with your habits of are you getting better every single day.
Nick,
Did
you showed
Landon's back injury happen in between Sunday and Monday's practice, or was that pre-existing?
Yeah, I'm not gonna get into when that happened or anything like that.
Does the knee not being listed mean that otherwise he is cleared?
Yeah, we only list the things on the injury report that would be limit them in practice.
Nick, to follow up on Brooks's question, are there certain positions where, with those players, you might have to talk to them more about that kind of, more individualized position, for instance, wide receiver, something like that, where you have to drive that point home more?
I think the most important thing that we do um, is just make sure that the job description is very clear. So there's no, and everything. I take a lot of pride that in here that they leave this team meeting and there's no question of what's required from me. I want them to play tough, detailed together, and they know exactly what that vision looks like. And it's the same thing when we talk. I'm assuming you're asking me about the roles and the contribution and that portion of it. And it's the same thing there. Again, for instance, um, it's hard to say that, Mike, that like one position is more emphasized than the other. Now, um, you're just being honest with every person and everybody right there about what the expectation is. So there's not a guess on it, right? Hey, we've had this role in the past. Like, we need you as a wide receiver. Might look what we asked Darius Cooper is going to look a little bit different than when we ask AJ Brown to do. But it's just being upfront with that and say, Coop, when you get your opportunities, to touch the football, you got to make it count. You're going to have to do some of this dirty work. That's so necessary for a football team. So everybody's explanation or job description is based off of them uniquely. And I wouldn't say I spend more time on one than the other. It's just whatever it is for that person. Did I answer your question?
I mean, look, wide receivers are going to judge themselves at some level by how often they get the ball thrown to them and how many
I
catches they
think
get.
I think what you just said is important. I think what the outside world does sometimes is factor the person's stats. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in what everybody needs to do to help this football team win. When you get influenced by the outside world of what they think success is or what they think is impactful for that position. That's my point. Like contribution, we need your contribution. I don't need your contribution to have 27 catches in 2 games or whatever. I need your contribution to be this, and that's a team. And so I think that's really important too, that we don't get caught up on, our job as a football team and as players and as coaches is to win every game. And I've talked about this, with Jalen. Like, with Jalen, I love how selfless he is, right? He's been so efficient as a quarterback, taking care of the football, efficient of going where the right place with the football. And then there's judgment on the outside of, well, he didn't throw for this many yards or didn't throw for this many touchdowns. I don't care. He was efficient with the football, and he did everything he needed to do for us to win the game. That doesn't just apply with your star football player and Jalen Hurts. That also applies for the rest of the team.
A couple more. You guys, for those watching the game, that there's a new play caller and a new OC.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Nick said that, that he was going to leave it up to you to announce the starters at corner and safety, so.
You'll see when we get to that. Yeah, I just don't think it's I don't think it's,
Yes.
I hate saying, like, I always respect your guys' job of what you guys got to do, and I appreciate your persistence and your relentlessness, because we teach that a lot, is persistence and relentlessness to do our job. And I just don't think at this particular time it benefits us to say that when I don't have to. So, yeah, I'll announce it on Thursday.
You guys have emphasized, you're moving on from last year. The last banner night in 2018, it's famous that the fans booed the Eagles at halftime because they weren't happy with the way things were going, albeit it was banner night. How do you feel about the fact that even though it is banner night for you guys, the fans will still have the standard of performing and winning at a high level?
Yeah, I didn't know it was banner night. We won't be out for that.
All
right, last one, guys.
With Jones this offseason and this summer.
I think he's been so consistent. And, for my 5th year here, that's why he continues to get better, because of his consistency. So I just appreciate that from him.